Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
And I'm Chris.
Today we'll be talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 10, Episode 11.
I need you to subscribe, like, share, comment, and hype the video. Hey, Kimmi, I saw your little Carlos King thing you did last week and things of that nature. No. We seen the episode. You was the aggressor. I'm not saying that I'm not saying I'm a fan of Nell. I'm not a fan of anybody really on the show, to be honest, personally. I'm only going off to the characters that I see portrayed. There's no excuse of why you would threaten to throw somebody in the pool. And let's not only use that scene as, Nell usually have a reputation to where we got to calm that attitude down. Let's not forget that you was being passive aggressive and not even inviting her to the girls' date or like the girls' night out thing because she had something to do. You didn't give her an opportunity to reject the invitation. You did not invite her. But we're going to talk about Kimmi in this episode and Tisha. You ready, Blair?
So Tisha goes to Trisha's house.
Mm-hmm.
Trish and Ken are still working on their relationship. She shares that she's going to therapy. She gets angry and she blows up at the people closest to her.
Yeah.
Trish says that this taught her that they have to love each other through every season. Tisha invites Trish to go to Bessemer to see her mom and her food truck, but Trish can't go because they're going to Miami for her son's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself that I'm hoping that Trish can put into action what she's learning from Dr. Francis. Of course, it's only the first session, and I think that she's kind of like learning what her triggers are and where they're stemming from. But when it comes to her talking about her and Ken just having to love each other through every season, the season of divorce needs to come quicker. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't think Ken should have to love you through 15 years of separation. Like, let's wrap this thing on up.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think the more years that they are in this gray area of we are together, but I'm legally still married to my husband, I think you are actually messing up the relationship even more and more and more. Because Ken made it very clear in the beginning what he wants out of this relationship. He wants to be married, right? So I think the more that there's still some loose ends on her end and things like that, it's going to sour the relationship more and more and more.
Yeah, Tisha thought that she was handling the conversation with Nell well.
Mm-hmm.
Trish said when the voices get to raising, it is a little too much.
Yeah.
Nell did say they had to leave LA because of a baby getting delivered, but Tisha said maybe Nell wasn't supposed to be talking about the situation, and that's why she kind of shut down the conversation.
Keep going.
Nell tells Chris how the convo went with the ladies. Nell doesn't think she was yelling. She still has her guard up, even though she accepted Kimmi's apology, and Nell said that she and Tisha aren't talking to each other. It's always something, and she's not going to keep talking about her granddaughter.
What are your thoughts?
I think that's fair for Nell not to want to talk about her granddaughter, but the thing is that we're not really trying to talk about your granddaughter.
That is facts.
We're talking about the reason why you left LA and how you did say it on camera because they keep rolling the clips back.
Yes, you did.
As far as you essentially lying now about the situation, and maybe she doesn't feel like it's anyone's business, but for you to tell or to say that Tisha needs to keep your name out her mouth and all this different type of stuff, well, is she lying? She's not lying.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get why Nell is annoyed and frustrated because you don't need to be repeating my business, but it's fair game once it's talked about on the show, and you did talk about it. So
yeah. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of anybody on the show to where I'm caping for them. So let's just start with Nell. Nell, we seen you on camera talk about why you had to leave for LA.
Right.
Maybe you didn't realize that you said it. Maybe you was like, oh, maybe I said too much. I spoke too much. And guess what? You said it. I don't know why it's something that needs to be hidden, especially at this point now that the granddaughter is born. It's Lance's baby in the first place. So it's really, truth be told, it's really none of our business. But since you put it out there, it is, I'm not going to say it is within Tisha's right to ask, but it is Tisha's right to be like, you lied. You get what I'm saying? You lied and you said one thing, and now you're saying something else. Now that we're here in the current present time, Nell don't want to talk about it no more. That is within her right.
Yeah,
to say
she's done.
You know what? I'm done with it. That means that Tisha, it is you don't have to keep pressing about it. Truth be told, I don't really know what Nell lying about her family have to do with you in the first place. Kimmi, I don't know what that has to do with you either. It's like, Tisha, you need, where's Marsau? Where's your family? You get what I'm saying? Besides you questioning things going on in other people's family, let's put the focus back on this relationship or non-relationship you and your husband allegedly have. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying with the whole Tisha thing. Yes, Tisha, you can say she lied to me and leave it at that. But at the end of the day, okay, let's say you find out that she did leave LA because she went to go see the birth of her granddaughter. Now what?
Yeah.
Like it's leading to a dead end. It's not leading to anything.
But I think the point that Tisha can't let off of it is because she thought that she was in a good place with Nell, only for when it's revealed that Tisha confirmed why she left, that Nell is kind of starting the beef over again by saying that comment. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing about it. Tisha always wants to be in good standing with people that serves Tisha. You get what I'm saying? The same way as we gonna talk about Kimmi and things like that. Remember what Tisha loved having somebody that would back her up. That's why whenever she addresses somebody, she said, right, Kimmi, or she needs somebody. But at the end of the day, whenever she feel like someone don't have her back, she will say something like, Kimmi, we used to want to be sister-in-laws, and I just feel like you never have my back. Tisha just always finds herself, even when she could be in the right, to be a victim of something. And I'm like, Tisha, just let it go, move on. It's really, the juice ain't worth the squeeze at this point.
So Trish goes to see Dr. Francis.
Yeah.
She shares with him she visited her mom and dad's grave and cried, and he acknowledges that is an amazing piece of growth for her.
Yeah.
She shares that she's been separated for 6 years. She's with Ken, and you would think he's the kid's dad because he's very invested in the children.
Okay.
She didn't think the kids would actually take to him the way that they did, which actually sparked a bit of jealousy within her because those are her kids, and it felt as though she was losing them to Ken.
Yeah.
She used to make smart jokes to make light of it, and Dr. Francis asked, do you get upset with the kids or with him for being a good guy? And he tells her she's really good at self-protection. He talks about how pistachios aren't open all the way and how she is pretty much protecting herself from something that happened in the past. Ken had to pay his dues to crack her open just a little bit. Then when this happened with the kids, now it feels like another loss to her. She likes to stay to herself because she doesn't want to deal with any more loss. And now Trish feels like she wants to talk to Ken and make things right.
You can't win for losing. Like, if Ken was to come in and not care about the kids,
that would be an issue.
She would have a problem. But then Ken came in, stepped in, and basically been a good guy around the kids. Now she's jealous of Ken. What is your thoughts on this scene?
I think that emotions aren't always logical.
Facts.
And I think that this is the place with Dr. Francis to kind of shift through those emotions. So hearing it can be a little bit, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Just by the simple fact that he's doing a great job for you and your children and you're jealous. You know what I'm saying? But jealousy is a real feeling that people feel. And this is the perfect place to try to work that out. So that way you don't feel that way anymore and that you can kind of move past that emotion. Yeah. So I think that going through the process is ugly. And the fact that she's admitting these ugly truths is actually what I think is going to take her to the next level of kind of being a more open, vulnerable person and not being as closed off and guarded. But it's an ugly process and you're going to hear about some ugly emotions even when people are only doing their best. So,
yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about human emotions. Things are not always going to make sense. But since we are in the context of therapy, I'm going to try my best not to judge her because this is a place that she should be transparent. So to where if things don't make sense, I'm not going to basically hold it against her. I'm going to give her bail out of jail.
Right.
But I'm going to speak the truth. And when I say the truth, I mean my truth, right? I think when she started getting jealous of Ken, of how close he was with the kids, I said to Blair while we was watching, I was like, because Ken was brought in to make Marquez jealous. Do you get what I'm saying? Because even though he said, talking about Dr. Francis, you're very good at self-protection, I don't think she is. Right? Because if she was or even the best at self-protection, if she was really worried, in my opinion, about those kids, then she wouldn't have brought a stranger in without crossing the T's and dotting the I's and closing the loose ends, right? But it's the idea that she kept bringing this guy around, right? Dating the guy. I have no problem with you dating the guy, but to the point where y'all live together, y'all brought a house together. In the first scene, Tisha and Tricia was in the house shooting the scene, and Tisha asked, where's Ken? And Tricia said he's with the daughter at dance practice and stuff like that. Why aren't you at dance? This is your daughter.
Right.
So when Ken is basically, as I would suggest, he's coming in knowing these are not his kids, right? he's probably feeling like, hey, I have to accept you and your kids for us to even talk, right? Now we get to the point of now the kids are starting to, like him and they starting to trust him. I wonder, what was her role in that? I don't think it's something as simple as, what's the word? As Ken just showed up and then the kids just started trusting him because he's like the new guy. You get what I'm saying? I wonder, because she was angry, because she had those other emotions, that those things kind of came out possibly in the household.
I'm sure it did.
To where it automatically made him the good guy. He ain't trying to be any better than what.
He just ain't going off.
Exactly. Like he's not trying to manipulate the children. Hey, like me more. Here's some candy. Or basically whenever Tricia say no to something, he's like, you know what? Yes. You know what I mean? I think Ken really showed up as himself, and because she wasn't in the right headspace, she showed up as her worst self. And the children just be like, we just gonna go with the parent that goes to the dance recitals.
Easier to talk to.
Exactly. Now we see, if you go back a couple episodes, that she was training her son. I think that took growth for her to finally get there, to actually do stuff with her son and do stuff with her kids outside of, you know what, your father's gone, and you know what, I was the only one that y'all depended on, so you know what, I want to be the center of y'all universe, which is fair. But I also want to give her a little bail out of jail for this too. If you are the one, right? If you are the one that your kids depend on, and you finally meet a guy that is good with your kids, that like you actually trust, I could see her being like, this is actually a breath of fresh air of like, I have a partner now. What she didn't expect is to feel jealous, right? The jealousy thing is not intentional from Trisha's part, in my opinion, but I think she was like, you know what? It kind of feels like the old days to where I had a spotter to where someone can help me lift up this burden. But I think she didn't expect her to be like, whoa, the kids really like Ken. And guess what? I didn't expect the kids to like Ken this much because I had no plan on marrying this guy.
Right.
Like Ken was supposed to be basically my boy toy to make my husband jealous, but he was never supposed to be like a father figure to these kids. That's where I think Tricia messed up at.
So Tisha, Destiny, and Kimmi take the Sprinter to Bessemer to see Wanda in her food truck. This is a pop-up. Kimmi asked Nell 3 times to stop yelling. They're talking in the Sprinter before they get there. She pretty much begged Nell to have the conversation to clear things up.
Yeah.
But Kimmy's energy changed when Nell said that they were ganging up on her and started calling them Scott 1.0 and 2.0.
Okay.
Tisha said that she wasn't trying to disrespect Nell because Nell could be her mom.
Okay.
Kimmi thinks that there is some other kind of issue with Nell, and they bring up how Chris talked about their husbands, and Tisha said that she didn't like Chris making those comments, but Destiny doesn't like being in the middle. Nell told Destiny that Tisha needs to be worried about the girl on the video, of course, the interview that Martel had with this stranger girl, and Tisha said, people keep continuously coming at her, and she says, look at me, look how fine I am. Essentially, I don't have to worry about another woman.
Yeah. She talking about all these seasons, basically. Y'all been making a joke about my marriage and things like that. She said 2025, we are not doing that. You know what this scene reminded me of? First of all, let me go off of what they was going off of. The scenes that they was trying to do flashbacks to and drawbacks to, basically Nell was the aggressor and things like that. Sure, if without the whole context of it, it can look that way, but whatever happened in that moment started when you didn't invite her purposely, passive aggressively, right? Also, this scene reminded me of season 1 with Kimmi and Tisha and Melody, right? Of how Scott 1 and Scott 2 was picking on Melody and things of that nature, kind of being passive aggressive towards Melody,
and making little jokes,
and remarks towards Melody. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So now that we have Nell here, even though she's not as young as Melody was back in the day, but she is the new cast member. These are basically the OGs feeling like when we ask you a question for a scene, we want an answer, right? To where Nell told y'all before you even said that you stopped. Before you even said that you asked her to stop yelling 3 times, she already told you 10 times that she don't want to talk about it. So you kept pressing, Tisha, right? And then Tisha's like, right, Kimmi? And then Kimmi trying to be, whatever. I guess she was trying to be the man in the middle, but really kind of leaning towards Tisha's side. And then you threatened to throw the woman in the pool. Yeah. So like, don't try to make it seem like Nell just went off like Nell just went off because she has that reputation. Of course, we know Nell's someone that pops off and things like that. This is not me saying that I'm a fan of Nell, but I'm just saying, do not make it seem like y'all hands is completely clean of this whole situation. Y'all were ganging up on Nell to get an answer, and truth be told, Nell did lie. But at the end of the day, is the juice worth the squeeze? To me, no.
I just wish that Nell would have been more open to the conversation. It seemed like she didn't really want to have it, to the point where Kimmi is saying that she had to basically beg her to come out to have the conversation. But I think if you're doing that, then maybe y'all just don't have the scene, and just
move on.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So they turn the conversation to Destiny dating, and she's going to get some boxing lessons from Twan for this boxing role she has coming up. She thinks Will is nice, but she is not sleeping with anybody. And Tisha said that's probably why Lance got that girl pregnant, because you're not sleeping with nobody. But my thing is with Destiny, I feel like you can date whoever you want to date, and it's really nobody's business. But if you're dating the same dudes within the same circle, and it's not necessarily that they're friends, but you know they're going to be in the same social settings, it is weird. It's awkward. Maybe not for Destiny, but for everybody else, it is going to be a question mark of, why are you dating the people that we're constantly around? Like, date somebody else, bring somebody new into the fold.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but I guess you tried to do that with Moses, and look what happened. So,
but it's not even that.
But he's not the only other person outside the circle.
But it's not even that. Like just like how you said, maybe it's not weird for Destiny. It's very weird for Destiny. That's why she had a big problem with Sonny. You get what I'm saying? To where it's like, hey, listen, at the end of the day, you do not have to date Lance. You do not have to date Twan. And you do not have to date Will, is his name.
Right.
All these guys know each other. Like, that is a purposeful thing that you're doing. You don't have to do it. Destiny is not ugly. You get what I'm saying? But she's doing it on purpose, while at the same time talking about just because I'm dating somebody doesn't mean I'm sleeping with them. Whole time we hear what Will's intention is in the last episode, what he wants out of this relationship. So that's why I'm like, I don't really understand what Destiny plot is. I think her plot is just to be on the show, to stay on the show.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna give Destiny probably a couple more episodes with the storyline. Because finally there's something to talk about when it comes to Destiny, because Destiny want to be tight-lipped and not talk about her life. That's how she ended up off of a season or two.
Pretty much.
So, at least she's given us something to work with and talk about. But if she's just dating people that she's not really taking seriously, it's really not going to be anything interesting.
And
so,
then, it's just weird to me. But let's keep going.
Now, Ken and Trish meet up. He is telling her he's still there for her, even though they're going through some rough times, and he's proud of her for going to therapy. He also lets her know that she can come and talk to him too, but she's not used to going and talking to people about her feelings, so she's not too keen on that. She shares that she was in a rage for feeling like she was losing her kids, and he's telling her, but that would never happen. He apologized for some things he said in the past, talking about how he would leave her, but overall he is happy with them in their relationship.
I want to normalize something, and I hope a lot of y'all agree with me. I know some people really, their intentions is really good when they say, you know what, you can talk to me about it. Right? I'm past that stage of my life to where I'm like, don't talk to me about it. Go to God or go to your therapist, right? Because I understand that Ken wants to be a support, but Ken, I think, right message, wrong messenger. I think she needs a doctor. I think she needs a Dr. Francis. I think she needs a professional.
Because y'all just going to continue to argue.
And she's not going to open up to you. She's proven that to you. Hell, you're just finding out she was jealous of you. So she can't talk to you. You get what I'm saying? I think Ken is within his right to express his intentions and stuff like that. Is this the last Ken and Tricia scene, or basically there's more? He expressed that he is happy where they are and things like that, and I don't know if I believe him. Right? I think he's happy where they are today, in the sense of they're not arguing, meaning that he's back in the house.
And she's gone to two therapy sessions.
But overall, I think he's suppressing what he really wants out of this relationship, and that is to be married to this woman. And he's kind of just like hoping to basically wear her down to where, like, basically when like she finally get her when she finally do get divorced, hopefully, right? He's hoping that after these therapy sessions and things like that this would be a much calmer Tricia, a much open Tricia. So when he does revisit the conversation of, hey, what do you think about marriage, that the answer would be different. That's what I think Ken is doing. I don't think Ken is 100% happy where they are overall in their relationship. But for today, I think he's like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah, I feel like he thinks that she's finally taking steps in the right direction, because for so long she wouldn't even talk to a therapist. But like we're at the beginning of her therapy journey, so I would like to see if she can implement some of these changes. But I will say, even though I was talking about jealousy in the context of therapy, I think it's important to know when you have an emotion that is wrong. And I think that for her to be jealous of Ken and allow that to spill into their relationship is wrong to do. And for you to make jokes or for you to cause a shift in the energy in the household because you're jealous is wrong. And that's where you go to therapy and work it out, pray it out, so that way you can come with a better attitude and a better energy, because it's wrong to be jealous of somebody who is your partner, who wants to do life with you, who wants to support you and your children in the best way that they can. So even though it's a real emotion, it's a ugly and a wrong emotion that you need to fix. So
facts.
So they visit Wanda at her food truck. Kimmi orders her steak medium. They don't be doing that at her food truck. Kimmy's going to get the steak how she gets the steak. We learned that this is Wanda's first day actually opening the food truck. And Tisha then fills Wanda in on the situation with Nell. Tisha says that she can't let her days get cut short by not respecting her elders, so she's going to need Wanda to have a conversation with Nell. Now Wanda wants to go to Huntsville. It comes out that Nell told Destiny. Now Wanda is calling Destiny a bone carrier for bringing it back to Tisha. And Kimmi sees that Tisha is sending Wanda to do her dirty work, and it's a bad idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Wanda wants to know what Kimmi thinks about the... well, before we get there, I do want to talk about how Tisha was riling her mom up, and she knows how her mom can get. And I don't think Wanda needs to be in the mix in that way. I feel like we've seen enough of Wanda throughout the years, popping off, getting in the middle of situations, getting in the middle of Tisha and Kimmi on Tisha's behalf. And so I think Wanda would do good by us visiting her food truck, seeing her ventures, even in situations with Marsau and Tisha. But it feels like they don't really want her involved in that either, because she's trying to ask the real questions and nobody wants to answer. But I'm not too interested in Wanda confronting Nell over Tisha. I would rather see Wanda confront Marsau over Tisha.
Let's keep going.
Wanda wants to know what Kimmi thinks about the girl doing the interview talking about Marsau and Maurice. And Kimmi says she didn't see the whole thing. She did ask Maurice about it, but she don't believe the lady. Maurice don't know who that is. Wanda says that she believes certain things that were said. And Kimmi is not blind to the fact that people cheat, but not that lady. Wanda thinks Kimmi is in denial, and she's down with her man no matter what. Tisha says that they came down here to support her business, not to get into the drama of it all. But Wanda lets them know that if a man doesn't give you a straight answer, it means he did it. That's why she's not with her husband no more.
You heard her. What is your thoughts before I go on my tangent?
And you know who doesn't give straight answers? Marsau. Maurice, the Scott brothers. So Wanda is making it plain, but Tisha is refusing to see what her mom is saying. And the thing is, none of us know what's going on in that relationship or what they're dealing with, and it seems like they're kind of refusing to talk about their household at all.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see if Wanda is around. Will we get any more information? Doesn't seem like it.
What is the name of this show, Blair?
Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Love and Marriage Huntsville. Thank you. Right. So when Wanda is asking questions and they don't want to answer the questions that pertain to, what's the name of the show? Love and Marriage Huntsville, they don't feel the need to have to answer.
Well, they did answer. That's what Kimmi was saying. I gave my answer.
No. You gave a non-answer.
Okay.
Right? You may not. And guess what? Nell gave an answer and you didn't like it and y'all kept pressing her. So I find it very ironic that we are literally seeing the same scene that happened last episode, to where Scott 1.0 and Scott 2.0 is ganging up on Nell about why did y'all leave LA? Now, Nell going to leave LA to see the birth of her grandchild, do that have anything to do with the premise of Love and Marriage Huntsville? No, because guess what? She ain't married to that grandchild. That has nothing to do with Nell and Chris, the married couple, and things of that nature. But the thing that have to do directly with the title of the show, with the OGs of the show, with the husbands of the show, and things of that nature. Hey, this thing with Marsau, you know, Tisha, what's going on with that? Now, all of a sudden, 2025, we ain't talking about it. It's not funny, and guess what? I'm not answering no questions about that. Kimmi, what's going on with Maurice? Because, you know, Maurice didn't give a real thing. And then that's when she like, you know what? I already gave my answer. You just don't like my answer, and you want me to say something different. No. I want you to answer the question the same way that you was pressing. Do I got to get an answer out of you by threatening to throw you into a pool, Kimmi? Do I gotta threaten Tisha to basically threaten you to throw you in the pool and things like that? So I just find it very ironic that Wanda, out of all the people I would have guessed, it wouldn't have been Wanda to try to get us back on track on what the show is about.
Yeah.
The show is about the marriages. Do you get what I'm saying? Not about when was the granddaughter born. Lance is not even the main character of the show. I don't care about Lance. I almost say give a damn about Lance. But I don't care about Lance. I care about Marsau, Maurice,
the main characters of the story.
Kimmi,
right.
Tisha. Melody is gone. So I don't know why Martel's still around. You get what I'm saying?
I don't either.
So, and guess what? I care about what goes on in the family of the Fletchers. You get what I'm saying? If you should show me Lance and what's going on with him by himself, I don't care. But I want to see Nell and Chris Fletcher interact with their family so we can see the dynamic. So this whole idea of just trying to get information just to get information, Tisha, that's not going to go about it. This role that you're trying to play of trying to basically, she is kind of removing herself of being a participant of the show, but now she's trying to become a detective to where she's just trying to get down to like the truth of everybody else's storyline.
Except for hers. Yeah.
Why aren't you filming with Marsau? We haven't seen you and Marsau film together this whole season yet. What's going on there? You get what I'm saying? We hearing things that he ain't even staying at the house at the time because he's spending that time to build y'all other house using that excuse. So that's what I'm saying. Let's get back to the main thing. And the main thing is love and marriage, Huntsville. Kimmi, you gonna have to show your marriage and continue to show the flaws of your marriage. You get what I'm saying? Marsau and Tisha, y'all gonna have to show y'all marriage and continue to show the flaws of your marriage. And there's no problem with flaws, but the thing about it is we want to see flaws and resolve.
Yeah.
The reason why we still talking about this Marsau thing is because there's no resolve. Marsau's not answering anything straight or anything like that. So it's like, I'm just saying, I just find it very ironic that Tisha's over here riling her mother up, trying to get Wanda to basically check Nell, where this is basically the pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
You don't want to answer questions. Nell don't want to answer questions. That's how I viewed that last scene.
Yeah, and that's all we got.
Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see you.
Bye.